Hello, it's time again for annual fire safety training and emergency procedure updates. This training will take approximately 30 minutes to complete. Please make sure you have enough time to view this video. When you have completed viewing this video, please remember to take the online fire safety test. If you have difficulty viewing this video, please contact your supervisor and someone in the IT department. Every year, fires kill more Americans than all the natural disasters combined. From 1998 to 2008, 2,738 people died in natural disasters. During the same time period, 46,900 people died from fires. On average, 7 people die in a home fire every day in the U.S. A fire department responds to a fire every 24 seconds, and an estimated 81,000 firefighters are injured on the job every year. 84% of civilian fire deaths occur in homes. It's important to remember you're not a firefighter, you're a first responder. Your goal is to get everyone out safely. This includes yourself. You do not have the equipment or training to rescue people. 43% of people injured in home fires were trying to fight the fire or rescue someone when they were injured. When there's a fire, people often believe they have time to get out. Fires grow quickly. They double in size every 30 seconds. Let's take, for example, a fire that starts in a garbage can that's about 12 inches by 12 inches. In 30 seconds, it grows to 2 by 1 foot, a minute, 2 by 2 feet, a minute and a half, 2 by 4 feet. And by the time you hit 3 minutes, that fire is 8 feet by 8 feet. Everyone realizes fires are hot. Our bodies contain about 80% water, and water boils at 212 degrees. When a building reaches temperatures over 1800 degrees, flashover occurs. No one's going to survive in those kind of temperatures. 3/4 of all fire deaths are due to smoke inhalation. Many of the items in your home and workplace, when burned, release toxic chemicals. When a person breathes these chemicals, it causes slow mental processing, slowed physical action and movements. The gases are hot, and when you breathe them, it can cause anything from respiratory irritation to respiratory arrest.
This room is furnished to represent a typical bedroom. There are pictures on the wall, drapes covering the windows, a bed with pillows and blankets, as well as other items. The fire is started in a trash can. As the fire grows, it starts to make a run up the drapes. It takes just 60 seconds to activate the smoke alarm down the hall. As the temperature rises and the toxic smoke becomes dense, your chance of survival decreases by the second. The temperature in the room has risen so fast that your next breath would sear the lining of your lungs if the toxic smoke hasn't already taken your life. Listen closely. You can hear the hallway smoke alarm melting as the fire, radiant heat, and smoke spread throughout the rest of the structure. This time, smoke and flames attract neighbors' attention.
Fire emergency. I'm walking by a residence at 6830 Super Stallion, and there's fire and smoke actually coming out of an upstairs window.
Once the 911 call has been received, it will take approximately 6 minutes until the first unit arrives on scene.
125 engine 222. We have a six-plex, two-story residence, well-involved unit on the second floor. Start second alarm.
Rockaway Engine 222, copy your request for a second alarm, six-plex well-involved, battalion fire.
It is now 13.5 minutes into the burn, and the entire room is engulfed in flames. As firefighters enter the structure, they must first extinguish fire that has spread throughout the building, and then make their way towards the point of origin.
Next, we're going to talk about fire prevention. Fire prevention is the most important firefighting anyone can do. Anything after the fire starts is just an attempt to decrease the magnitude of the damage. Cooking is the leading cause of home fires and home fire injuries. Unattended cooking was a factor in 34% of reported home cooking fires. A common cause is just not paying attention to what is on the stove. Range is accounted for the largest share of home cooking fires, 59%. Frying poses a great risk for fire. Oil left on the stovetop only takes a few seconds to overheat. If you have to walk away from the stovetop, turn it off. Use oven mitts when you're moving hot food. If they're wet, don't use them, and if they wear out, replace them. Keep curtains, paper towels, anything flammable away from the stovetop. When using the oven, check inside, make sure nothing's in it before you turn it on. If you're using the stovetop, don't forget to turn it off before you walk away. Turn pot handles in so they can't be grabbed or knocked over, causing a burn or perhaps a fire. Keep the top of your cook range clean. That buildup of food grease on the stovetop can cause a fire. When cleaning the oven, remove any large chunks of food from the bottom of the oven before you start cleaning it. To put a fire out on the stovetop, put on an oven mitt, slide the lid across the pan, and turn the stovetop off. If you don't have a lid, douse the fire with baking soda. Do not use a fire extinguisher for cooking fires. The powder comes out forcefully and can cause the grease to splatter, spreading the fire.
Every fire needs three things to burn: heat, oxygen, and fuel. And it will keep burning and growing until one of those is removed. If you're cooking with grease and the pan catches fire, you need to act fast. The safest way to extinguish a small pan fire is by removing the oxygen. First, put on an oven mitt. Next, grab the lid that fits the pan and smother the flames with it. Carefully slide the lid over the pan to cut off the oxygen. Then, turn off the burner to stop adding heat. Never pour water on a grease fire. That can make the fire spread. And leave the pan alone. Don't lift the lid. That would add more oxygen and keep the fire going. Or move the pan until it is cooled completely. Never try to carry a burning pan to the sink or outside. That could fan the flames and the oil can burn you and spread fire around. Now listen up. You should only try this if you have a safe way out and everyone else is getting out. If the fire is spreading, get out and call the fire department from outside your home.
If there's a fire in the oven, do not attempt to open the door. That adds oxygen to the fire and flames can come bursting out. In this situation, turn off the oven and call 911. For a microwave fire, unplug the microwave and don't open the door. Call 911. Microwaves are also one of the leading causes of scald burn injuries not related to fires. So when using the microwave and pulling out something hot, wear an oven mitt to prevent yourself from being burned. Barbecue grills have to be at least 10 feet away from the building when being used. They have to be used outside on a level surface, away from trees, not under overhangs. They cannot be used inside garages. Check at the beginning of the season that the hoses are in good condition. Never start a gas grill with the lid closed, and always check inside the grill before starting. When using charcoal, never add lighting fluid once the grill is started. Always make sure you have a fire extinguisher handy. Use long utensils so you don't get burned. The grill should be cleaned when the grill is cool so the grease doesn't drop on hot coals. And pay attention to that grease can to make sure it doesn't overflow. Never leave a grill unattended, and don't try and move a hot grill. We all learned to stop, drop, and roll in elementary school. It's important to be aware that clothing was the first item ignited in less than 1% of cooking fires, but accounts for 16% of cooking deaths. If a person panics and doesn't stop, drop, and roll, you can take a blanket and wrap it around the person, drop to the ground, and roll with them, smothering the fire. Candles and open flame devices are prohibited by fire regulations. Birthday candles are the only exception to this. Halogen lights generate a lot of heat. Nothing should be placed on top of lights. Curtains, blinds, hanging plants should all be kept away from lights. Don't overload outlets with multiple plugs. Extension cords need to be the ones with the circuit breaker on the power strip. Electrical cords should not be under carpeting, as you can't see if they're fraying. Space heaters are not allowed. Appliances like your coffee pot should be unplugged when you're not using it, and dried plants should be thrown away because they don't require a lot of heat to ignite. This is an example of a fire in South Glens Falls last year. A 32-year-old man was woken by firefighters Tuesday afternoon and escaped his home before it was consumed by fire. Derek Hazelton lived in an upstairs apartment in his family's home at 35 Hudson Street. He escaped unharmed, but the home is a total loss. Hazelton's mother, Carrie Duell, her husband, James Duell, and daughter Hazelton, 25, lived downstairs. Outside the burnt home Tuesday afternoon, Carrie Duell said her son, Derek, was awakened by firemen pounding on his door. He heard the smoke alarm. It kept going off, but he thought it was just a malfunction. Investigators said Wednesday the fire was caused by an overloaded electrical outlet on the porch. They had too many things plugged in, said South Glens Falls Fire Chief Keith Dickinson. If you overload an outlet, you can short it out and it catches fire. When using a dryer, use it only for what it's designed for. Drying items with oil residue, plastic, foam, rubber, and rubber-like materials can cause a fire and should be line dried. Don't overload the machine. Clean out the lint trap every time, and make sure that when you leave, you turn the dryer off. Smoking is prohibited in any wildwood building rented or owned, as well as a wildwood vehicle. It's also against the law to smoke on school property. Every site has a designated smoking area, and smoking needs to be done in this area. Cigarette receptacles are available at every certified site and are the only place to discard cigarette butts at Wildwood. These receptacles need to be at least 50 feet away from the building or the furthest point on the property, not on any decking. These receptacles need to be emptied regularly, and the ashes need to be cold before emptying. The fumes from gasoline are flammable and can ignite from just a spark, so the vehicle must be off. Touch the vehicle to discharge any static electricity before you begin to fuel the vehicle, and no one should be smoking or using a cell phone while the vehicle is being fueled. Remember what smoke does to our body? It affects our thinking, movement, and breathing. In a recent study, people believed that they had 5 or 10 minutes to get out in a fire. They have much less time. Every Wildwood site practices fire drills and has its own site-specific evacuation plan. Document all drills even if it's a false alarm. Varying the time of day, blocking exits are all important in helping people be prepared. Always evacuate to the meeting place. Fires happen on rainy and snowy days too. Know all of your exits, and everyone needs to participate in the drill. The goal in a fire drill is to get out in under 3 minutes. If someone does not evacuate in 3 minutes, the evacuation procedures must be reviewed with the person, and the drill should be run again within 24 hours. You also need to contact an administrator. If your work site has fire sprinklers, you have slightly longer to evacuate. Why 3 minutes? Flashover occurs when heat from the fire radiates down from the ceiling, igniting everything from the floor to the ceiling. Temperatures reach up to 1,000 degrees Celsius or 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. There isn't an exact time for flashover to begin. It depends on a variety of factors. How combustible are the items around? How hot the room is? Does the fire have access to oxygen? Flashover doesn't happen in all fires. There are some important things to know when your work site has fire drills, such as, does anybody have a fire evacuation goal? Do they need assistance or supervision when evacuating? Do you know your work site, where your site-specific meeting place is? You should know if a person has behaviors that are unsafe during a drill. Do they pull the alarm? Do they refuse to evacuate? If someone is having problems during fire drills, the team needs to meet and discuss what's the best way to address this issue for that person. If there is a fire, you need to follow the RACE procedure. R. Remove everybody from danger. A. Alarm alert everyone with the alarm. C. Close the door. And E. Evacuate the building. Your only goal is to get everyone out safely, including yourself. When the alarm sounds, you need to evacuate according to your site's evacuation plan. Use the nearest exit. If an exit's blocked, use an alternate exit. Staff's only responsibility is to get everyone out. Answering the phone, finding possessions, or deciding to use the fire extinguisher are all peripheral concerns. Smoke detectors will set off the alarm. If you see smoke or fire and the alarm has not sounded, pull the nearest pole station. If there's no pole station or the alarm is not going off, yell fire as you exit. Contain the fire by shutting the doors behind you. Check rooms as you exit and shut open doors. Our doors must meet a minimum 20-minute fire code rating. That means it takes 20 minutes to burn through a closed door. If you come to a closed door, before opening it, check it. Feel the door with the back of your non-dominant hand. Start at the top of the door because heat rises. Put the back of your hand by the doorknob. If it's hot, use an alternate exit. If you see smoke coming from the door, use an alternate exit. Always check the door for heat with the back of your hand. Backdraft can occur. A backdraft can occur when a fire is starved of oxygen, the gases and smoke remain at a high temperature in the room, and the door is opened. By opening the door, you're adding oxygen. OSHA requires that fire doors not be held or propped open. Doors equipped with a magnet will release upon the activation of the fire alarm. Do not prop doors open. Exit the building and do not re-enter. Don't go back for photos, the hamster, money. The exits and pathways should always be clear of debris and snow. Remember that more people die from smoke inhalation than the actual fire. Personal items can be replaced, people cannot. If there is a real fire, follow RACE, remove, alarm, close, and exit, and call 911. Call from a cell phone or a neighbor's phone. Smoke detectors cut the death rate in half during fires. Every certified location at Wildwood Programs has smoke detectors, and all of the smoke detectors are connected to an alarm system. To have a fire, you need to have 4 things present: fuel, something to burn; heat, high enough to ignite the item; oxygen to sustain the burn; and the 4th element is the chain reaction. You have to have the right combination of these 3 elements to have a fire. Fire extinguishers have flame retardant chemicals in the powder that's released. We are required by regulation to have fire extinguishers at our certified locations. If you are using a fire extinguisher, people should already be evacuating, the fire department should be called, and supervisors should have been notified. Using a fire extinguisher, the fire should be small, contained, there should not be a lot of smoke, and you should always have an exit if the fire grows. All our fire extinguishers are ABC fire extinguishers at Wildwood. We have fire extinguishers at day services, school, group homes, and offices. The average fire extinguisher lasts about 10 to 15 seconds. Watch the video as you learn about how to use a fire extinguisher.
Hi, I'm Joel with the Bremerton Fire Department, and I'd like to take a moment to talk with you about fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers are a safe, effective tool for extinguishing small fires. When it comes to fire, be smart. This fire extinguisher, which most people have in their home, will discharge its entire contents in 10 to 15 seconds. That is why we use fire extinguishers on small fires. Fire extinguishers are rated A, B, and C fires. A being ordinary combustibles such as paper and wood products. B being flammable and combustible liquids such as gas. C for electrical fires such as your toaster or blender. To use the extinguisher, remember pass. Pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. Pull the pin. Aim at the base of the fire, not the flames. Squeeze the trigger. And sweep at the base of the fire. Pull the pin. Aim at the base of the fire, not the flames. Squeeze the trigger. And sweep at the base of the fire. Some important things to remember. Always keep the exit between you and the fire. If the fire grows rapidly and becomes too large to extinguish, exit the area. If you are inside, shut the doors on your way out. Keep the extinguisher where it is accessible. Small fires spread rapidly. In summary, fire extinguishers are used to extinguish small fires. Never put yourself at risk by attempting to extinguish large fires. Possessions can be replaced. You can't.
Sprinkler systems are not intended to put out a fire. They're intended to slow the growth of a fire and contain it to an area. Our Curry Road, Latham Building 1, our Delmar home, and our Rollingbrook home all have sprinkler systems. Each sprinkler head has a colored glass bulb in it. The glass bulb has an air bubble and liquid in it. When heat from the fire rises, it causes the liquid to expand, compressing the air bubble. When there's no more room for the liquid to expand, the glass bulb breaks. Sprinkler heads with a red-colored bulb are designed to activate at 155 degrees Fahrenheit. When the glass bulb breaks, the sprinkler head becomes activated. Each sprinkler works independently from the others. When the sprinkler head is activated, it sprays water, cooling the air temperature, preventing flashover from occurring. If a sprinkler is activated, the fire alarm bells will sound and the location needs to be evacuated. Follow RACE, remove, alarm, close, and exit. Call 911. If a sprinkler is leaking, dripping, notify your supervisor immediately. Do not try to stop or fix the leak. If you smell smoke, pull the nearest pull station and immediately start RACE, remove, alarm, close, and exit. Check closed doors for heat. If the door is hot, use an alternate exit. If you see smoke, stay low and crawl to an exit. If you find the fire, close the door, follow RACE, and use an alternate exit. Carbon monoxide is commonly released during fires. You can't see it, smell it, or taste it. It causes about 400 deaths each year and about 20,000 hospital visits due to carbon monoxide poisoning. This gas prevents your blood cells from being able to carry enough oxygen. The symptoms for carbon monoxide poisoning are severe headaches, becoming dizzy, mentally confused, nausea, weakness, chest pain, and disorientation. Wildwood certified locations have carbon monoxide detectors. If you hear the carbon monoxide alarm go off, you need to follow RACE. Do not re-enter the building. You may not know if it's the fire alarm system or the carbon monoxide detectors that have set off the alarm. Notify nursing if anybody has symptoms or ill effects, and if somebody's symptoms are life-threatening, call 911. If you are working with someone through their home, please be sure to contact the family. There are also some additional emergency procedures that need to be reviewed. You should know where your emergency numbers are at your program, who to contact, and site-specific information. Always communicate and let your supervisor know what's going on. If working in a private home, let the family know what's going on. In the Northeast, we experience a variety of weather emergencies. For severe weather emergencies, you may not be working with the person that you normally support on that day. For wind emergencies, such as hurricanes, tornadoes, or high winds, bring people inside. Listen to a radio or TV to monitor the weather updates. People should be moved to windowless rooms or hallways. Be prepared with flashlights. Make sure the cell phone is charged. Fill buckets of water or the bathtub in case of power outage to flush toilets. If you discover that a room is flooded, don't enter the room. Don't enter any area where water is above the electrical outlets. Don't touch any electrical equipment when standing in water. Move people to unaffected portions of the building and notify your supervisor of the situation. For earthquakes, drop to the ground and take cover by getting under a sturdy table or other piece of furniture and hold on until the shaking stops. If there isn't a table or desk near you, cover your face and head with your arms and crouch in and inside a corner of a building. Stay away from glass, windows, outside doors and walls, anything that could fall, such as lighting fixtures or furniture. Stay inside until the shaking stops or it is safe to go outside. There are some new procedures when visiting either Latham or Curry. You need to sign in if you're supporting individuals. Sign your name plus the number of individuals with you. If the alarm goes off while you're in the building, you should evacuate using the nearest exit. You should meet in the parking lot where your vehicle is. This allows us to know everyone made it out of the building. By returning to your vehicle, it allows us to easily find you in the parking lot. Lockdown drills are conducted at both Curry and Latham to ensure that everyone knows what to do if there's an intruder in the building. If you are at school or Latham or Curry Road and hear someone declare a lockdown drill over the intercom system, you should find a closet or locked room to hide in. Stay away from windows and remain quiet. You can leave an area when the all clear is called over the paging system. If it is a drill, you will hear that the lockdown drill is over. A lockout is when you are locked out of a building. This could happen for a variety of safety reasons. If a lockout is called, don't go to that location because you won't be able to get in. Shelter in place is a procedure where everyone stays inside the building, can freely move around the building, but not go outside. This is something that the police department, the fire department, or a hazmat team may ask of the community when there's an emergency. Occasionally, school practices a full evacuation drill where all the staff and students go to their alternate site. We want employees to be aware of this drill because it will take a little while for all these cars to get out of the parking lot and a little while for you to get in. Congratulations, you're at the finish line. Now remember, go back and take the quiz to get full credit for this training. Thank you and have a great day.